What is going on, guys? Joey here, and today, as you guys can see, we're going to be going over Russ's meet at Nationals, Powerlifting American Nationals. For those of you who have not been around, me and Russ decided to do a meet in Korea. This was in December 2022. Um, Article 14 kicked in. We had to sit out, so we did our time. We had that little qualifier meet where we just lifted, the bar, and then now we're at nationals. Finally, after all this time, we had a really good off season. I'll just let this play for you guys here. We had a really good off season, built a lot of momentum. We were able to hit crazy PRs in the gym when you have over a year of training, and you don't have any injuries, and you can really focus on training. He did have some obstacles to kind of deal with outside of the gym, but he overcame all those things, and kind of right before the meet, we really locked in and just kind of made training a priority. At the same time, we are heavier in the off season. In my opinion, I think that getting bigger in the off season is a undervalued tool in the community. Lifters seem to just, I don't know, they either want to stay light, they're just scared of not making weight, but Russ really gets kind of up there. I'd say probably like almost close to 200 pounds, right? Maybe just under. And then we will diet down as we get closer to competition. And then once we're within striking range, we do our weight cut and we make weight. And that's what we did. Coming into the meet, I thought he could hit something pretty close to what he hit over in Korea. Little did I know. I had a feeling, but I guess you don't really know until you actually get there. That there could be some rust, a little bit of ring rust, as they say. Mostly with just, you know, getting to the platform and executing on a national stage, with good judging, things like that. One thing I will say, coming into this meet is that Russ said I honestly don't think I've ever heard him say this because I remember his attitude when we did nationals, and I know he definitely wasn't nervous in Korea. But he told me that he was actually a little bit nervous this meet, had some jitters, which I mean, it just comes with having time off, I guess. Um, Me, I'm pretty numb at this point, which I'll talk about in another video whether that's good or bad. But I think it's good. But there are certain things that I do when I'm more aggressive. I guess you would say with attempts when I don't really feel fear or anything. Um, as you guys will really see in Crandon's video. But talking about this right here, uh, opener 683, 310 looks just like an opener. We had gone over all of our numbers. I think I gave it to him almost a month out, maybe like 3 weeks out. And then I just said, hey, I want you to visualize, 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 right? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm visualizing, putting in the number, going through the scenarios. What happens if he smokes it? What happens if it's slow? What's my plan B? What's my plan C? Whatever, right? So he hits that really good. Looks like an opener. No problems at all. By the way, Duhan, whatever camera you're using, this is quality right here. Second attempt 716. Just planned number, not anything crazy. This is the lift that we gotta hit to sort of keep us in the meet. If we hit this, we could pretty much win the meet, right? Openers just get in the meet. Second meet's like kind of establish your total. That was good and deep. It looks like can't even see the belt is submerged. Hip grease is gone. But I believe he told me that he felt like he got a little bit deeper than normal on that one. I actually think the depth was fine, and I think that's going to be a range that we're gonna need to hit. That's depth that we're gonna need to hit on like big stages. It's something that we can continue to work on. It could also be that he's just a little bit rusty. There were some things with the way that we put our body weight back on after making weight that could have been better. And I said this to him a couple times. We went over, in the future, like how we need to sort of emphasize basically just fluids over solids, just to really um, help him get his strength back, help him rehydrate, and that's what happens when you're rusty, right? I don't even actually know if he had a nutritionist for this one or if we just did it. I do I do remember getting supplies for him and making sure that he had what he needed to make weight, but I didn't like how the last one moved, so we just took a 5 kilo jump, um, and I think he kind of felt it. And with any of my lifters, it's kind of like you got to show me what you have on your second attempt. And if you show me you're strong, then I'm gonna go with the original plan. Um, if you show me you're a little bit beat, then I have to make an adjustment. Truthfully, so he didn't get that on depth, and then I went over to the jury. I contested it. They all agreed that it was a good lift. Um, it's kind of hard to see from that angle, but hey, man, that's what I'm there for, right? Shout out to the jury. Their side view from their cameras that we don't even have access to looked good. Um, and thankfully they were able to overturn that. Strength wise, if we're taking that and just adding more weight on it, um, I want to say 738 was probably fine. So another 5 keys there. Coming into bench, let me see. Is there anything I want to tell you guys about in the warm up room? Not really. I mean, so at this point, right now we're coming into bench. Your whatever fluids that you need to take down, it's going to be in your system now, so you're going to be able to like your weight cut is not really going to be an issue now coming into bench, right? It should be you should have all your sodium in your system, but I can just tell that if we tweak those little things after we make weight, he's going to be he's going to be better. Um, and it's just one of those things where like people have preferences, people have habits, they prefer doing things. Maybe he was really hungry, so he was kind of just more biased towards food as opposed to the fluids. Um, but there's just like little things that we could do to just make it even better, which I'll definitely make sure that we do at Worlds. Every lifter is different. Every lifter has certain things that they like and dislike about weight cutting, food, attempts, jumps, and these are things that you just gotta kind of figure out. And 14 months, um, not competing. I will say that for me, coming into this, it was about like we're almost in like strength discovery mode. I'm trying to figure out what do we have on the day? How strong are we going to be after a cut? How real are those gym numbers? Were there any variables that messed them up? I think the lift there, I think that was like probably right on the money, maybe another 2.5, but that was like pretty tough. Now I will say if you guys noticed on the opener for bench, he was wearing his squat shoes. Let's see if we could see them. They're the Jordans that he wears on squat. But then those shoes right here. But then coming into bench, we are having some problems like keeping his feet down, so we had to hold it a little bit longer than we wanted to. So we switched to the wrestling shoes. No problem. If you guys look, you see like a little bit of like the shoe coming up there, kind of like where my mouse is. It's so minimal, but the rule is it only has to be as flat as the shoe allows. Now, if you look at this right here, I mean, it looks like his feet are flat. He's doing the right things. At the end of the day, like naturally the human heel is a round thing. It's not going to be like a brick or like a square, right? Shoes are going to be molded after your feet. There's going to be like this is really not a big deal at all. He should be able to do that just fine, or get the press command just fine. Um, if he hits his opener, he'd be at 832.5 kg, which I believe would have won the meet on its own. Um, Shout out to the other 83s. I think they're actually pretty good 83s. I was Angela, I believe it's Chris. Yeah, Chris Perez. Um, so it's not like he didn't have anyone there, you know. He's just ahead. Opener was really, really, really easy. I wanted to put a second attempt that like kind of um just put the nail in the coffin, right? What do we at? 850 total there. So our already PR total in the second, and then I was like, all right, let's just put a little bit more on there. So substantial strength increase um, in this weight class. Again, there's things we can fix about the weight cut. A little bit of slowdown right around the knees. Um, didn't really look too bad. I've seen him grind way, 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 way harder. Go look at his deadlift third attempt from. I can't be jumping like that yet. But yeah, go look at his third attempt from Korea. It was much, much, much harder than that. So um, I was actually pretty happy with his deadlift execution. I didn't have any. He didn't have any grip problems or anything like that. Look at that. I mean, that's great. Just a little bit at the end there when it was about to come out, but he was basically done with the lift at that point. If he continues to have the bar here, we're not going to have any problems. One thing that I try to tell people is like, I want you to think about cueing your knuckles down. So if you're grabbing the bar, I think if your knuckles are facing the ground, right? They're going to be facing straight down. The bar is going to have a very hard time rolling out of your hands. You might not be able to keep it in that position, but it's just something for you to think about, right? You want to find a middle ground between having your knuckles facing the ground and maybe a little bit less. Um, but yeah, he hit that nice and easy, no complaints. Luckily for us, Worlds is in 12 weeks, so like we're gonna get the rest out right away. We don't have the time to do a full off-season bulk. We got to get right back into it. By the way, please excuse me. It's extremely late at night. I'm a little rusty myself. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that performance. A60 is good. We need the other, there might come a time we're going to need the other five on squat and the other five on deadlift. That'll give us 870, which would be a pretty nice total. I want him to get that 885. I know he can do it. We just have to get there. Um, we're going to try to be a little bit more intentional with the way that we bench and some of the things that we do. I know bench is not really an exciting lift for him. It's also a lift that's very tied to his body weight. Um, but we can be better there. And yeah, we're just going to do the things that we need to do. Might be some other things we do with the weight cut, so we could be even bigger on the platform, but we'll see. We're still kind of ironing those things out. He actually has a nutritionist now. Shout out to the homie Berto, the OG. Um, so that'll be really good. And I've known Berto for 9 years. He does Delaney's weight cuts. I didn't even notice that Delaney cut weight at Sheffield, and I'm very confident that Berto will be able to get Russ eating as much as possible, keeping his weight within striking range, and then emptying the gut a little bit so we could be even heavier. And yeah, it's gonna be good. So that's pretty much it. I mean, um, 9 for 9 day. Need to execute a little bit better on squat and just be a little bit better on the weight cut. If we could do those things, I mean, and to Russ's credit, we haven't been competing. We haven't competed in a long time, but there are a lot of things like about his deadlift and about his bench that like I didn't even need to really. I just had to pick numbers because he's going to execute those. We've already drilled that for so long. Um, Squat is like there's a lot of different things going on with squat. It's the first lift of the meet. We are rusty. You combine all those things together, and you might put your feet a little bit. Let me see if I can find it. You might put your feet in a position that you normally don't. You might be thinking about things that you normally don't. Um, and it just you need that repetition. Competing is a skill. It's not something that you can really do in the gym. It's just completely different, like adrenaline. The setting is it's just not the same. Even if you give somebody a mock meet, it's just not meet day. So there is something to be said for competing a good amount. And I will say that when you have a light enough opener, it really really helps. And that's something that I really try to do with all my lifters. Make sure that opener is like so light. There's no, you gotta get that first one out the way, and then you go from there. You stick with your plan second if it moves all right, and then that second attempt will kind of tell you like what you're doing. If there's any technical problems, then you may go up or then you may go down. There are times when we do miss a second, and I still go up because I know because of the reason. But it just depends. And with somebody like a Russ, I might do that. With somebody that's like new to these high level competitions, um, maybe I don't do that. But at the end of the day, Russ is back. I'm really happy that he's back. Um, Shout out to the homie Ryan interviewing him at the end. And Big Body, I guess we could stop it right here. I want to give a shout to, I want to give a shout to Big Body for helping in the back, Jesus for helping in the back. Mikey was competing this day, but he did help. All the helpers that we had in the back, all the Flex boys that stayed after they competed to help out. Um, the meet ran really, really well. I'm really pleased with how the meet went. Mike Z was great. SBD was great. King of Lifts was great. White Lights Media, I believe it's called, was great. I think they're UK based. But yeah, it was a really cool nationals. It was chill. Everybody was like in a good mood. It was just like we're all back together again, and we know what's coming, and everybody's excited for it. So, um, I will say, as a lifter who's been around, I've been around this for a long time. To finally have the things that we have now, I mean, there's really no reason to be upset. There's just so many good things coming down the pipe, and I hope it keeps growing, and I hope everybody could stay healthy and good things continue to happen. So, if you guys made it this far, let me get a hashtag, whatever you guys want. And I know someone's gonna put hashtag whatever you guys want, literally. But whatever you guys want, comments down below. You could do Russ's back, real one, flex, whatever, anything you guys want. Nice little warm up for Worlds, and that this right here that you guys are seeing, that's Sheffield. That's where we want to go. We got to handle business at Worlds first, and then we can complete the trifecta. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for making it this far. I really appreciate you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.